So, I hear we're into some of the same stuff.
You're about to join Jon
and Eric
as we explore said stuff.
Really bad movies, Sega Genesis,
Sports and girls. The interesting aspects of pop culture.
and we'll answer listeners' mail because you have so much to say.
You are listening to
A sophisticated conversation.
Greetings and welcome to episode number 6 of Podcast Revolution.
6.
Yes, Eric.
6.
Yes, Eric.
6.
No, Eric.
Okay.
Alright, well, anyways. It's been a few days since our last podcast. What have you been up to, Eric?
Not too much really. I played hockey last night.
What a coincidence, so did I.
I had my I had my last softball game today, which was pretty exciting. We only won one game and lost 5 and finished in second to last place.
Was this one of your losses?
It was one of our losses.
Was it a bad loss?
It was pretty bad. We lost like 11-5, and I missed like a routine pop fly ball. I was playing third base, and like I called for it and everything too. I was like, I got it, and like yelled really loud, and my voice kind of cracked when I yelled.
I got it!
Yeah, so it sounded ridiculous, and then I missed it, so everyone gave me crap.
Did they giggle?
Yeah, everyone's giggling. It kind of exactly. Yeah.
Hey, Eric, I'm a clown. You can't get
Stop.
Why don't you take a picture with me? I'll show you how to catch balls.
Sit on my lap.
You took it too far.
I know, but
No.
but yeah, it was very embarrassing, especially since there were some cute girls on the other team watching. So I pretty much blew any chances right there.
Blue chances, yes.
Right, even though they probably wouldn't happen because we had to sign a form at my work that we wouldn't have office romantic relationships. Well, I think it's just funny. I think that's a silly concept. That some people, I mean, like, I understand.
There's people married where I work.
Well, I mean, I understand why they did it because, like, if you had a boss, if, like, my boss, say, was dating one of my coworkers in my department, like, you know,
that's a conflict of interest. But what if you dated someone in your, like, of your same level?
What do you mean by
like, well, someone who's at the same position that you are.
Oh, the same. I don't think you can. I don't think it can be like in your department. It might maybe like another floor with a totally.
I don't like it.
It's just kind of. I don't know. I mean, like I understand why they have it. I just feel like it's like you can't love this person. Like it's kind of like Romeo and Juliet type of stuff right there. You know, the kind of crap that like Taylor Swift would sing about. That's pretty much what it is right there.
I'm happy for you, but Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time.
One of the most.
That was my ringtone for a little while.
Oh, that was awesome. Kanye West is such an idiot.
You know you're pretty bad if Barack calls you a jackass.
He's just that guy just buries himself. It's like no one even needs to do anything. He just makes it so bad for himself. I mean, what other
He even makes his life story pretty bad when he says how he grew up in the ghetto, but then he was homeschooled and everything was good and dandy.
Yeah, well, I feel like a lot of rappers are like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know any rappers personally, but I just feel. I mean, yeah, there are some of them that definitely.
You know Frenchie.
Yeah. I mean, like 50 Cent, he got shot like 11 times and like grew up selling crack. Like, okay, I get it, but I feel like there's some rappers that are just like, you know, it's like, did you really do that? Did you really like kill like 30 people? Because I don't think you did. Correct me if I'm wrong, but watch a bunch of rappers come in here and just beat the crap out of us.
Or just tell us their story.
Yeah, I see every episode I seem to piss off people. I piss off horse people. I piss off people who want a bunch of daughters, I suppose.
Now imagine if there's a rapper who loves horses and has a bunch of daughters.
Then I am screwed. I probably will get shot. Like
riding on his horse with his daughter on his backpack.
Oh, so he's riding on Sarah Jessica Parker, you mean?
Yes. Another celebrity who can never be on our podcast.
Oh, absolutely. So how about you, John? What's shaking for you?
I've just been doing some work and been doing some podcast-related activities as well.
Work is awful, huh? It just gets in the way of everything you want to do in life.
It does. It helps you find something to do when you're bored if you're the kind of person who can't find things to do on your own.
Yeah.
But for people like us who podcast, it just ruins everything.
Like, I don't mind work. I actually like my job very much. I don't mind it. But there's times it's like...
But actually, work helps me come up with topics for the podcast.
It does. Like, if I ever retired, I don't know what I would do with myself. Like, if I won the lottery, I don't think I would just be like, yeah, I'm not going to do anything the rest of my life.
Build a hockey rink.
Yeah, but where would I build it? There's like already...
In your backyard.
Okay, I thought you meant like a business hockey rink.
Oh, who cares about them? Or yeah, build a business, whatever.
Yeah, but you can't play. You gotta like do something with your life. You can't just like sit around all day like Paris Hilton or something.
Sail around the world.
Like that teenage girl that's
that
like
16-year-old girl
lost at sea or something.
Well, she got found, but wasn't a good
is that really a surprise? Like, 16-year-old girl tries sailing in a boat around the world, gets lost and almost killed. I mean, it's like, really, like this. How is this a surprise? That's like saying Paris Hilton isn't a virgin. You'd be like, oh, really? Like, wow, yeah.
Actually, speaking of young people doing interesting things, I think recently a early teenager just climbed Mount Everest. How much of a slap in the face is that Mount Everest?
I feel like Mount Everest is overrated too. Now I'm gonna piss off Mount Everest climbers.
And Mount Everest used to be a huge thing when was it Robert Guinness or some guy?
Yeah, Mount Everest. I mean, it's just the people who climb Mount Everest. First of all, no offense to Hippie Dave, but they're kind of all hippie jerks. Like, not that Hippie Dave is a hippie jerk. He's actually a good hippie, but they're just kind of like know-it-all, like. They're like, I brag about how many mountains I've climbed, hippies. And the thing is when you climb Mount Everest, like, the Sherpas that get paid, like, 50 cents to, like, carry all the hippies that climb Mount Everest, they have, like, hundreds of dollars worth of, like, the best gear in the world, oxygen tanks, like, everything. Then you have these Sherpas wearing, like, leather shoes from, like, 50 years ago to just haul their crap up the mountain. Do you ever hear of them, like, bragging, like, oh, I climbed Mount Everest? No, you don't. So, Mount Everest climbers...
Oh, it was Sir Edmund Hillary who did it, not Alec Guinness. I think Alec Guinness was Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was Obi-Wan Kenobi. He probably could do it, too, though.
Use the force, make the mountain move down so you could just walk 2 steps.
Sir Edmund Hillary. That's one heck of a name right there. I mean,
yeah. But, yeah. What were you just talking about?
The Sherpas.
Okay. So imagine some kid comes up to you and he's like, my dad's the president of America. And you're like, yeah, well, my dad's a Sherpa.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the Sherpa is definitely a lot tougher.
Imagine your dad being a Sherpa.
Yeah, they get paid, I think, the equivalent of, like, it's like $5 a day to just haul rich hippies crap up the mountain with them. They don't have oxygen tanks or, like, any of that stuff.
I wouldn't mess with a Sherpa.
No, so Mount Everest climbers, screw you guys. I really, just be quiet. It's been done a million times before. Go to, like, Mars or something, then I'll be impressed. But until then, I really don't care if you've climbed Mount Everest.
I think the next frontier is the ocean.
Ocean is a frontier, because, like, I think submarines can only go, like, a mile underwater, and there's, like, some of the shelves, like, in the ocean are,
pretty
like...
deep? Like 3 Mount Everest deep.
Yeah, like, they think there could be, like, giant squid and octopus, all this other crazy stuff.
Yeah, or Atlantis, or Frenchie's Dignity.
How funny is that, though, that, like, we can go to space. They're talking that by 2025 we may have, maybe not Americans, but maybe Russians, someone may be in Mars. Like, how crazy is it that we haven't conquered the ocean yet?
Or that we have instruments that can go to other planets and everything and explore that and take pictures, but we don't have anything that can go to the depths of the sea.
Right. I mean, it's crazy because, I mean, you have all that water pressure and all that crazy science stuff that I don't know much about, but I've just watched enough Discovery Channel that I can kind of somewhat know what I'm talking about. But I think that stuff's pretty cool. It's kind of like maybe that movie Cloverfield. Maybe there's this big, like, dinosaur thing down there and he gets all pissed off because people are, like, listening to this podcast way too loud and he just comes up one day.
A big dinosaur thing from space.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I think could be in the bottom of the ocean. So I think that's way cooler than Mount Everest. Way cooler.
I suppose I can't argue that.
Well, anyways, I think we're going to take a short break and we'll have a message from one of our sponsors. Hey, I need something to do tonight. Oh, wait a minute. I have Netflix. I can watch movies from Netflix, like Sex and the City. And it has my favorite actress in it, who happens to be a horse, Sarah Jessica Parker. That's right, you can watch it tonight on Netflix. You can view it on a Wii, an Xbox, coming soon to Android phones, and also just you can order them and they'll come to you in the mail for only $9.95 a month. Check it out. Netflix. No, Sarah Jessica Parker, it's Netflix.
And we're back.
Yeah.
Yes. Eric is excited to be back.
I am.
Why are you so excited, Eric?
I'm excited to continue the rest of the show.
Did that commercial excite you?
It did. It made me think about Mr. Ed.
Okay. Mr. Ed.
Well, speaking of talking horses, not that this has anything to do with a talking horse, John recently went to a Mexican restaurant.
Well, some of their meat comes from talking horses.
That is very true. I didn't know you could eat Sarah Jessica Parker. But anyways, John recently went to a Mexican food restaurant, and I didn't go recently, but I've been to a lot of I love Mexican food. I think John does too here, but this
Not so much,
not
actually.
so much. Okay, well, I love it.
In fact, the reason I was invited to go to this restaurant, so I said, okay, I'm not a huge fan of Mexican food, but I'll go. And the fact that I don't like Mexican food plays into this because I looked at the menu, didn't see anything too appealing. And I saw hamburgers, so I just said, yeah, I'll get a hamburger. Is that unreasonable, Eric?
It's on the menu, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. So I ordered a hamburger and told my waitress, and she left, put in the order. Then about 15 minutes later, a different person came out to order the food, and they looked at me and made a snide remark. Here's your hamburger.
Is she trying to be funny, or is she actually?
No, they seemed legitimately pissed off that I ordered a hamburger.
It's like then why put it on the menu? Why? I mean, what's the point? And I was telling John a similar thing that happened with me as I was at a different Mexican restaurant than he was at. We don't want to. These establishments are actually very good. We don't want to talk bad about them because that's not cool. But although I kind of did. But anyways, similar thing. I went to a Mexican restaurant with my parents, and we were getting some drinks, and he asked what I wanted. And my favorite beer, and really one of my favorite drinks ever, is Guinness. Love it. They had it on draft, and I figured, all right, I'll have a Guinness. And the waiter just said, "What are you doing? This is a Mexican restaurant. What do you think? You got to get a Dos Equis." And I just kind of played along with it. I was like, fine, I'll get a Dos Equis. But I really didn't want it. And it's like, don't serve Guinness then if you don't want people to have it.
Oh, in the defense of the restaurant, Dos Equis is an excellent drink.
Oh, it's very good. I'm not putting it down. It's just, I didn't want
I don't
one.
always drink beer. But when I do, I prefer Dos Equis.
Stay thirsty, my friends. But, it's just...
But in the principle of the thing, you are right. And you could have just said, no, I'll have my Guinness, but you caved in like a wimp.
Well, I mean, I don't know. What was I supposed to say? Like, no. I mean, the guy was trying to be funny. He was being pleasant. But at the same time,
You could have been funny at the same time, too. You could have said, well, I'm not Mexican, so I can do whatever the hell I want. Now give me my drink.
I could have,
No.
but I think he probably would have wiped his butt with my burrito and then gave it to me.
I'm sure he did it anyways.
He probably did.
That's how they make them. That's why I don't eat Mexican food. No offense to the Mexicans.
Yeah, well, I do enjoy Mexican food, but it's just why do places do this? And there's other things too that it's not so much the store's fault, but just there's things in life that it's just awkward buying it.
Actually, there's some restaurants where, like, for instance, they won't let you put ketchup or steak sauce on your meal. Like, even if, like, you order a steak, and if you try to put steak sauce on it, they won't let you.
Well, yeah, it's considered, like, an insult to the chef. That's why, yeah.
But if you're paying for their food, you should be able to do whatever you want with it.
Well, that's more our generation. I feel like older people, it's kind of like, you should take what the expert gives you, or us, we're kind of like... What are we, Generation Y or whatever the heck we are? We're kind of like, screw that. We want
What generation
want.
Xbox?
Generation Xbox. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's certain things that are just that way, even non-food related. Like, for example, how many times have you met somebody, it could be a friend, your dad, whoever, that you had to go food shopping and you had to buy a certain female hygienic item for that certain time that happens once a month.
I never have to buy that.
I've had to before, and
For yourself?
not for myself, no.
Oh, good.
I mean, I've had to too, but that time, no, not for myself.
Okay.
And you just think, you're like, oh my gosh, it's so awkward. But at the same time, it's like, what? I don't know. Probably other people have done it. Like,
No one else has done it.
No one has.
No.
Okay. So it's like, it's just, why is it awkward? Or like, some people like are afraid to like I've actually had to buy like condoms before for people.
What?
Yeah, for people. Like, I bought them for myself too, but like for other people who are afraid to like get it, it's like the store wouldn't sell it if people didn't buy it. I don't get the point.
Right.
And it's like with the restaurant. Why would you sell it if you gotta expect people to buy it? And that drives me crazy. So, moving on, John, there's another thing that ticks you off. This is kind of like the episode. Normally it's me talking about things that piss me off, but this is kind of like...
Actually, before we get to that, we do have some administrative news.
Oh, that's right.
Good news.
We have a bunch of big news. Do the biggest news first.
No, I'll get to that later. But for right now, we no longer... Well, actually, we do still have our old emails. Feel free to send us emails at those, which you can listen to older podcasts to get those.
Well, don't send them to mine, though.
Fine, don't send them to Eric's.
Some nude photos.
He hasn't gotten any yet, so let's keep up the tradition of saying blank.
You want to send some awesome stuff to my email, then fine, I give you permission.
I guess like clowning on each other.
Like clowning, yeah, that's cool.
Okay, anyways, if you want to send us an email, send it to podcastrevolution@gmail.com.
G as in Google.
Yeah, that is what the G stands for.
That is what it stands for. So we do have that email. It's ready to go. So any feedback, questions, you want to send some photos. Another thing, too, is over the next few weeks, I'm going to start building a Facebook page as well for Podcast Revolution, which is pretty sweet. So that will be really fun, too. And we'll be able to actually post, like, photo albums and from different events and things we're talking about, which is pretty cool.
Excellent.
What else, John? What was some other news that you have?
Well, in recent days, I've submitted our podcast to several different podcast sites, and many of them have picked up Podcast Alley, Pickle Podcast, or whatever it is.
Pickle Podcast.
Something along those. Picklecast, I think.
That sounds like a porn production company.
Well, now that we're on it, it's definitely one.
Oh, okay, cool.
But I submitted to iTunes and Zune. I haven't heard back from Zune, but iTunes has approved.
Which is huge.
Yeah,
that is
big.
Really, really cool.
Increase our exposure.
It
Maybe you found us through iTunes. Good find.
Yeah, definitely agree. That's really huge because Apple, they're kind of...
The standard.
They're pretty strict with how they review and accept podcasts. They have to review it and check it out and check for quality and everything. So that's really cool. I mean, that's really big news that we're on there. And John, did you log on yet to our... No email yet.
Well, we haven't even told them, so...
That's true. That's a good point.
That would be pretty amazing if we did.
That would be. So that was really the administrative news over here. What else, John? Anything else you can think of?
Well, we do have a special coming within the next month. Eric and I are planning a trip to Toronto.
Hopefully it happens. Hopefully it does.
Oh, it's happening.
We got to have 4 people.
It's happening.
We got 3.
It is happening.
Okay, I guess it's happening. So we will be doing an international podcast. And we did pick up a digital recorder, so we are going to interview some Canadians and
record well on the road.
And record some things on the road. So probably in about a month, we'll have the international Canadian podcast, which will actually be pretty funny, I think, because Canadians say silly things and do things that are funny, and plus they're Canadian. That alone is funny. So
This is true.
So yep. So it will be a good time. So we do have that coming up as well. So we do have that. We're still working on getting pretty much really like a somewhat kind of local celebrity, I guess you could call her. That's the only hint I will give, is that it's a beautiful woman,
a local nationwide celebrity
that we're hoping that we can get on the show. So we're still working on that. If you are,
Eric, stop taking your shirt off.
Thank you. I'm also taking my pants off now.
No, seriously.
We are also working on, I have a friend, I don't know if anyone's a big fan of the band 30 Seconds to Mars, but I have a friend, and I'm being actually serious, not like a friend of a friend of a friend, like a really close, cool friend that she actually works for the band and does a bunch of video editing for them and works on their music videos and their DVDs and travels with them. So we're hoping to get her on here later this summer too. So if you are a big fan of the band, stay tuned for that and we'll keep you updated. And I'm looking at John's buddy list right now on AIM, and I haven't used AIM in about 900 million years, but I think you have like everybody on the planet on there. How many buddies do you have?
Well, it incorporated all my Facebook buddies too, like everyone on my Facebook
Wait,
list.
so you can talk from AOL Instant Messenger to Facebook?
Yep,
Messenger.
to the Facebook chat. Yep.
Can you really?
That's true. That's how I talk to you.
That is actually really cool. Wow, I never knew you could do that. AIM has come a long way. I stopped using AIM back in like 2006 or something, but did you see big sporting news? Few big sporting news moments. Obviously, John doesn't care about basketball and hates it, but the Celtics did lose Game 6 in a very horrendous...
It was awesome. I actually watched about 10 minutes of it, and I nearly peed my pants.
It was really bad. I think what the Celtics have, like 67 or 60...
I think it was 66.
It looked like a WNBA score. That's how bad it was. It was awful. And Kendrick Perkins, the Celtics starting center, he has a torn... I believe it's an ACL and a PCL, which
He's done.
I didn't even know there was such thing as a PCL. I thought it was just ACL and MCL. But
well, most guys don't have a PCL, but basketball players do have a PCL.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying, but so he did, I guess, tear that. So he's out for Game 7. So it's in LA. Celtics have been. In my opinion, I think the Lakers have been playing way better than the Celtics overall this series. I'm very surprised this is going to Game 7, to be honest with you. So I really have no clue who will win Game 7. I honestly don't know.
I'm not going to make a prediction because every time I have, the Celtics have won. So
okay.
So I've
Thanks,
been wrong
John.
in all my predictions.
You're
so I won't
a great
make
person. Okay, awesome. In other sporting news, the World Cup action is also going on. Today there was a big upset, monumental. Switzerland beat Spain.
What was the score?
1-0.
Whoa!
And really, yeah, really, it should have been like 2-1.
I think the most I've seen of any game this year has been 2-1.
Yeah, well, I mean, soccer games are generally lower scoring.
Yeah,
in general. I mean, it's like, well, I mean, you don't complain about hockey when it's 2-1. I mean, hockey and soccer are very similar score
No, what I'm
lines.
saying, in about how many games have been played already? 15 or so?
Yeah.
There haven't been more than
two goals
scored yet.
It has been a low-scoring tournament overall. I will admit that. Based off of previous tournaments, I don't have the exact numbers on me, but I did look at a scoreline summary of the first, 3-4 days of the cup, and it was very low scoring. I think there was one game that was 4-0, but other than that, they were all 1-0, 1-1, 2-1. So, I mean, usually you get a few more.
And a good defensive game isn't a bad thing.
Yeah. So I mean, World Cup.
But the thing that I can't stand is, just like in basketball, a lot of the soccer players outside the U.S. and England, because that game was pretty good. I won't complain, but lots of floppers.
Yeah, it's part of the game, but a lot of people don't understand in soccer that the reason you flop and kind of roll around is that you don't have a break. There's no timeouts. You only get 3 substitutions. That's it. In hockey, you get to do 1 million subs. In basketball, you get to do as many as you want. In soccer, it's a 90-minute game. You're running across the entire field. I mean, it's the only way you get a break, really. So that's why they do it.
Well, they need to fix that.
They do. Maybe, you know what? Maybe there should be. I know in the Olympics they experimented with it actually, and the Olympics in China in their soccer tournament they had like a timeout session. Not kidding you either. Like it was like a 20-minute timeout period, and they just got like water.
Another thing I don't get about soccer is the clock's always going, even though, and at the end of the game the ref estimates how much time should be added to the extra time.
Well, I mean, they don't estimate; they actually keep track.
Yeah, well, why don't they just stop the actual clock? Every other sport can do it. Why can't soccer do it?
John, that would make too much sense.
What does FIFA have against letting their fans know what's up? Because that just makes too much room for a crooked ref to change the outcome.
It's funny because I actually ref, and it's really funny because maybe at the professional level it's not as bad because towards the end of the game the linesman will hold up a card that says how many minutes were added, and then they'll show it on the scoreboard. So professionals know what's going on, but if you're like just growing up playing soccer competitively and stuff, you really have no clue how much time the ref added. It can really screw you over.
But can't there be stoppage time in the stoppage time?
Not really, no. Well, I mean, there could, but it doesn't happen that much. What I think is funny is one time, actually, I was reffing a game. It was like a 13 or 14-year-old, travel soccer game I was reffing. And same thing, went into extra time. I awarded about 2 minutes of extra time. Well, at the 2-minute mark, my watch went off, and it was a corner kick.
Oh, boy.
The game was, tied, 1-1. And I just figured... whatever, I'll let them do the corner kick. I don't care. It's kids soccer. I mean, not that it's kids, 13, 14, but I don't know. I didn't really think much of it. I was like, whatever, I'll let them do it. Well, they scored.
Wow.
And I pretty much negatively...
You screwed one team.
I did screw one team, so I kind of felt bad about that.
Maybe you should apologize. Do you remember what team it was?
Actually, I think I screwed over Hampstead.
And apologize to the Hampstead youth soccer team right now from several years ago or whenever it was.
Yeah, it was probably about 6 or 7 years ago that happened, yeah.
Yeah, well, I never want you to ref my game. You're a crooked ref.
But it was pretty funny, and reffing, I mean, reffing's tough. I've
reffed ice hockey. It is tough.
It's very hard.
You have to make a lot of split-level decisions without much time, much help.
There's just so much going on, and when you're a parent watching from the sideline, the only thing you're watching is your kid or where the ball is. But when you're a ref, you got to watch everything, so you're not going to see every little, whether it's hockey, it doesn't matter what the sport, you're not going to see everything. And then parents were nuts.
Yeah,
just crazy. I mean, I had parents threaten me. It was crazy, just nuts. So I'm glad that experience.
And it's funny, the thing they teach you in ref school is that even if you know you made the totally wrong decision, you got to stick by it.
Yeah, you still have to go.
You can't no call in the history of sports has ever been reversed, which is ridiculous.
Yeah,
you should be able to reverse a call.
The only time I ever reversed a call is, like I said, it's very hard, especially on a soccer field. If you were by yourself, had no linesmen, I'd ask the coaches to be honest. It's youth soccer. Don't be ridiculous. Help me out on the sideline. If there's a ball on the sideline, I call it one way, but it's legitimately the other way. Just let me know. But don't, I kind of trusted both of them. It's kind of more of an honor system than anything. It's like you're kind of a jerk if you screw that up. So that helped a little bit, but still, it's not easy stuff. But
very true. All right. Well, looks like we have a commercial break coming our way.
Okay.
All right. We'll be back. After this.
So let me get this straight. You have a special event coming your way, and you want some way to remember it, to live it, to continue hearing it and breathing it. Well, guess what? The only way that you can successfully have this happen is to call Polkin Productions. They'll make your dreams come true over and over again. PolkinProductions.com. Thank you.
And we're back.
Yeah.
All right. That was a successful break, I'd say.
That was very successful. And we actually received a listener email while we were doing the break.
That was very lucky of us, huh?
It was very lucky of us. It is from Kevin Chaff, nonetheless. And he has a very interesting question. Do you want to read it, John?
I shall read it.
Okay. if the NHL was having a mock draft of the all-time greatest movie hockey players, what would your starting lineup be?
Oh man, this is a great question. And we're talking like hockey movie players, not even real ones.
Hockey movie greatness.
I mean, there's a lot that could be on here.
There's a lot of hockey movies. Not as many as there are football movies or basketball or the other movies, but the hockey movies are special.
It's quality over quantity, people.
Exactly.
That's what it is. And
even though there's so few movies to choose from, we're really limiting the list because we're ignoring a few movies like Mystery Alaska and Youngblood. We're not even touching those ones.
And the choices too that we picked, I think, are much more memorable than choices in say baseball or football fictional movie players. So without further ado, I'll start it off. We're going to do 6 players. Originally, Chaff asked 5, but we're going to do 6 because we want a full team on the ice. That's what we want. So starting in net, who else but Goldberg? Mighty Duck series.
Knuckle Puck. You can't turn away from that.
Wait, Knuckle Puck was Keenan, not Goldberg.
I thought Keenan was Goldberg.
Oh my god, you got a lot to learn, buddy. No. Goldberg, Keenan only came in D2. He was from South Central LA.
Playing street hockey.
Yeah, he was like ghetto hockey. That's who Keenan was. His name was Russ Tyler.
Oh, okay.
And then Goldberg, he was in all 3. And he, without a doubt, I mean, he's the goalie. I mean, hands down. I mean, you could have Julie the Cat Gaffney be goalie, who's technically a lot better than Goldberg. I never understood why in the movie. She was legitimately 1,000 million times better than Goldberg, but Goldberg played every game.
Well, she happened to have always play at the wrong time of the month, is my guess. And Coach Bombay could see right through her.
Yeah, I suppose so. Maybe that's the reason. But
or maybe he kept her on the bench for his own personal reasons. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he just didn't like women. But I mean,
no, he kept her close to him.
Oh, I got it.
There we go.
Yeah. So that's without a doubt. Goldberg is number 6. You want to explain number 5?
Number 5 is we don't actually know the character's name, but MVP, most valuable primate. And you don't even need to see the movie to know how awesome MVP is.
Look up most valuable primate MVP. It was a Disney movie about what was it, like
an orangutan?
An orangutan that played hockey. It's like Air Bud, only it was a orangutan.
Yeah, MVP. Very funny. Very funny.
Yes. Awesome stuff. He's a orangutan that plays hockey. I want him on my team.
You already act like MVP, so might as well.
Might as well.
If you can't beat him, join him.
Number 4, I'd say, would be the captain of the team. And that's Charlie.
No, he would not be our captain.
He would.
No, he would not be our captain. He's a self-centered douche who's very entertaining.
He was only self-centered in the 3rd one.
Doesn't matter.
Only for a brief period, but then he became the captain again, and he rose like the phoenix.
Oh, for those of you who don't know,
Charlie Conway. How do you not pick him as a captain? You gotta be kidding me. He gave up his jersey so Russ Tyler, Knuckle Puck, could play in the final of D2.
Wow.
What kid would do that? Be like, yeah, you know what? You see this championship game that's like on TV and stuff? I'm not going to play in it. I'm going to give it to Russ, who's been on the team for like literally 2 games. That's it.
Well, I want a captain who leads by example, and they lead on the ice. They don't lead on the sidelines, so some ghetto trash kid can play in a game.
Charlie Conway, captain. Hands down, without a doubt.
Alternate captain.
No, captain.
I'll give him the A.
Nope, captain.
He's on the team nonetheless.
Captain.
All right. Number 3.
Triple deke, Charlie.
Number 3 is Reggie Dunlap, the coach and
player coach
for the Charlestown Chiefs from Slapshot.
Yeah.
And portrayed by none other than Paul Newman. Paul Newman.
Good actor. Fantastic movie.
Fantastic film.
He starts out as just a kind of... Well, I mean, he's just a loser kind of guy.
But he utilizes his team's elements and makes the best of it and brings them to the championship and wins in a very unconventional style.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he makes the whole team a bunch of goons.
He brings a lot of swagger. He could bring some swagger to our team.
He definitely would be. I'd give him an assistant captain.
Alternate captain. That's what the A stands for.
Okay.
It's alternate.
Whatever. Same thing.
No, it's not the same
Same
thing.
thing.
It is not the same
Same
thing.
thing.
They don't assist the captain.
Same thing.
You know what? Why don't you tell us who number 2 is?
Number 2 is Gordon Bombay. That's right. Emilio Estevez, Mighty Ducks. Fantastic. Not only does he start out, he's a drunk attorney who used to be a fantastic prospect for a hockey player. Then I think he got injured, is what they said was the backstory.
Yeah.
So he never made it. But then at the end of the first one, he decides he's going to play pro again. And then the beginning of the second one, he's incredible in the minors. Definitely going to be finally make it to the NHL, his dream. But then the coach of Iceland took him out.
Not cool.
That was the end of Gordon Bombay's career. But Gordon Bombay, excellent player, excellent coach, heart of the team, leads Charlie Conway to the championship with the rest of the Ducks, leads by example, hands down, number 2.
Number 1 is actually 3 players, but they can all be lumped
They're
together
one. They're all the same
because they're
person.
the Hanson brothers from Slapshot.
And we're not talking Bop. We're
talking Boom Bop.
Boom Bop. The Hanson brothers.
They
from
will mess you up.
Slapshot. Absolutely incredible movie. I don't know. I mean, it's legendary. It's definitely an iconic film.
Hanson brothers are in all 3 Slapshot movies. All you have to see is number 1. That gets the story across just fine.
Yep, and I mean, who can forget the shift?
One of the first times you see them, they're beating up a soda machine, which is a story of things to come. And then before they're in when they're in the locker room on their first game, they're putting foil around their fists and taping it so that when they punch guys, it'll hurt them that much more.
And then they also
they bring their toys on the road with them.
their suitcases like toy race cars. So. Yeah. Without a doubt, they're number 1. So again, thank you, Kevin, for the question. And people, send your questions.
And for an honorable mention, I'll put in Chris Pratt from the movie The Lookout, which wasn't a hockey movie, but he appeared to be a phenomenal hockey player. A little bit of a jerk though for excessive celebrations and whatnot, and slashing players. But every team could use a goon.
Exactly. So there you have it. There is the list. Maybe we should go to our last commercial break now and then finish strong.
Sure. Here we go.
Okay. If you're going on vacation, or if you just have no life and work a lot and leave your animal stranded at home, call Paw to Paw Promise. Paw to Paw Promise will handle all your animal love needs. Paw to Paw Promise can walk your dog, take care of your dog, really just any animal, not just dogs for the matter of fact. Rather than drop your animal off at a kennel or any other place where they have to sit in a cage all day, call up Paw to Paw Promise. They can enjoy the home, they can be in their normal location, they'll go out on walks, they'll have good fun, and you can do sleepovers, right?
That is true.
Pet sleepovers, that's right. So if you're going to be gone overnight and you need someone to watch your animal overnight, Paw to Paw Promise can handle it. So check out pawtopawpromise.com. And we're back.
All right, for this final segment of episode 6 of Podcast Revolution.
We're going a little old school with this last segment. This one we haven't, even though we've only been around for not too long, but this is old school for us.
This is going back to episode 1 with our letter to the governor segment.
We are. So John,
a lot of people,
very good letter here.
We've got a lot of feedback from the first one, in which people told me, you can't actually move the seacoast into the state, and I told them, I know, it was a joke. It's a humor podcast, but a lot of people took me seriously.
Really?
Really? Yes.
You know what? The governor probably would actually ponder this plan. At least if Bush was our governor, he probably would.
But Bush is not John Lynch.
He would look into it. So,
no, I think John Lynch is wise enough to see the humor in that.
I actually met him once. He's a nice guy.
I'm sure he is. But he also knows that the state does need tourism, and revenue can be generated, or any way we can get revenue is great.
Add some beaches.
So I have a new idea for generating revenue for the state.
Let's hear it,
Governor
John.
Lynch, I hope you're listening. Now, one thing people love about New Hampshire is our license plates. And they see that, and even the slogan on the bottom, live free or die. The convictions that are behind that all the meaning. It's so pertinent to our society.
I agree, John.
And the man on the mountain, may he rest in peace.
Pieces, you mean?
Oh, that's a bit harsh. But he's on all our license plate, on all our state signs, and that's great. But he's old hat. He's gone now. He's crumbled. He's rubble. What we need to do now is to make options. And one option we have the moose option, the one with that.
Yeah.
For conservation and whatnot.
That's not cool.
It's cool if you like moose. And I saw one person, their license plate said moose and squirrel. And they had that.
Yeah, I mean, but moose is, that's too New Hampshire. We need something unique.
No, that's too Maine. We're trying to be Maine. We're not Maine. We're New Hampshire.
We're the best state in this country.
The best state in the union.
We need Governor Lynch. Listen to this idea.
All right, Governor Lynch. I came up with this idea, and all right, just bear with me. One fad that I don't think's a fad. I don't think it's going anywhere. It's here to stay. Is the popularity of vampires
all over the place?
All over the place.
Vampires.
TV shows, books, everywhere.
Little kids' dream idols. They love Team Edward and all this other
People think they
stuff.
are vampires. There's people who think they're vampires. So why not indulge these people by giving them vampire license plates and jacking the price way up?
Yes, I think it would make sense, Governor Lynch, because, as John was saying, New Hampshire actually has, per capita, I think the most vanity license plates in the country.
I believe that's true.
Now, if you took what is most popular in the country in the most popular vanity plate part of the country...
Gold mine! Cha-ching! Cha-ching!
Ching!
Yes, Governor Lynch. So, and just think of, you could have different ones. You could have Dracula, you could have sponsored ones, you could have Twilight, and you could live free or die with blood dripping from die.
Oh, I love that. You could have, like, fangs coming out of the top of it.
Or live free and never die. So, just something to think about, Governor Lynch.
It obviously could bring a lot of money to this state, Governor Lynch. Listen to what John is saying. You are sitting
just
on
think,
a
when you
gold
do
mine.
this, you don't even have to give us a cut of the money. Just keep it all for the state.
This is just, we're doing this for the state. We love your state, so we love our state so much.
We're here to help. And if anybody in any other state is listening to this podcast, please don't tell your governor. This is our idea. This is our state. Don't take it from us. And if you do, give us lots of money.
Yes, give us lots of money, because if it's not staying in New Hampshire, we deserve a lot of it. Or at least send us a lot of viewer mail.
Unless if you can prove that a vampire lives in your state, then we'll concede. You could be the vampire state.
It would be cool if, like, New Hampshire was the vampire state, and then Vermont could be, like, a werewolf state. Now that would be cool. Because now they have a rivalry.
No.
You didn't know that?
No.
Vampires and, like, werewolves.
Oh, I thought you were talking about New Hampshire and Vermont.
Well, yeah, I mean, we kind of have we spoon with each other.
That's true. That's not rivalry. That's bonding.
That's a good point.
We're buddies. We're great friends.
We are great buddies.
Oh boy. I've gotten some complaints about that noise, too.
I actually enjoy it. Can you do it again? There we go. Yeah, there we go. Thanks. I'm taking my shirt off.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Well, before we go, I think we'll get into our usual movie, and should we do music or book recommendation?
We haven't done book in a while.
We haven't done book in a while? Okay, I'll let you start off. You do book first.
Do book first? Alright. Well, the other day I was listening to White Noise on audio tape, and I remembered that that's my favorite book. So I highly recommend White Noise by Don DeLillo. I don't think I've recommended that before, have I?
No, I don't think you have.
Or did I?
I don't know.
Even if I did,
who cares?
I highly recommend this book. It's my favorite. It's one of my favorites, if not my favorite. So yes, I did recommend it, and I know none of you have actually gone out and read it since then. So right now, write it down. Go read White Noise by Don DeLillo.
Nice. I am going to recommend To Kill a Mockingbird. I really
overrated.
No, I really enjoyed that book a lot. I read it in actually Miss Hutnick's English class. That was the first,
I was there. Yeah.
first time I met you back in good old high school. So I really enjoyed the book. I think it has a very good message. I think Atticus Finch is quite a remarkable, fictional, but awesome person. So I highly recommend that book if you haven't read it yet.
Everyone's already read it. It's in high schools across, unless if you dropped out of school before high school, which isn't legal in anywhere.
Yeah, that's true. So that would be my book recommendation. What's your movie recommendation?
My movie recommendation for this week. Get back to me. Let me think about that.
Get back to you. My movie recommendation. Let's see. I think I'm gonna go with. You know what? I'm going to go with a movie that I'm probably going to see the remake of this weekend, even though I kind of don't want to. That would be The Karate Kid. The original one from, I think it was made in 84, 82 or 84.
It's been a while ago.
It's been a while. Really cool movie. I really enjoyed it a lot. Awesome stuff. It's definitely not really in my generation because I wasn't born until 87 and the movie came out 3 or 4 years before I was born. It was probably for more of the young adults age it was probably targeted at. So it's definitely way before my generation, but nonetheless I've seen it, really enjoyed it. And the remake with Will Smith's son is coming out, even though it should really be called The Kung Fu Kid, but I'll leave that. I'll talk about it later, but I'm hoping to see that this weekend just because I like the original a lot. I'm interested in the remake. I don't think I'm going to like it, but I'm interested in it.
All right, and sticking with the Ralph Macchio theme, this movie features him. But it doesn't star him, but he's in it.
What movie's that?
My Cousin Vinny.
Oh, okay, yeah, he is
Joe
in
Pesci.
that. Yeah.
And Marissa Tomei won an Oscar out of nowhere for this movie, but she did a very good job. She did a good job. It's a funny movie with some serious implications, but it's a guy pretending to be a lawyer and a New York guy in the South, and he definitely doesn't fit in, and hilarity ensues.
It's actually funny because speaking of people who've won Oscars kind of out of nowhere, who do you think's the worst Oscar winner of all time? I'm going with Kevin Costner or Nick Cage. How did that?
Nick Cage has an Oscar?
He does.
And Leo doesn't.
Nick Cage got Best Actor for Leaving Las Vegas.
And Leo doesn't have one.
No.
What kind of country do we live in?
I don't know. I think they're both horrendous actors, but I mean, I like some of the movies they're in. I mean, I like National Treasure. Nick Cage was in that. I like a few of his.
You know what's
okay.
funny? You piss people off a lot. I'm going to piss a lot of people off right now and say that I don't think Heath Ledger should have gotten the Oscar.
I think a lot of people agree with you, though.
I don't even think he was the best supporting actor in that movie.
Who do you think was better?
I thought Aaron Eckhart was as Harvey Dent / Two-Face.
Really? I thought Heath Ledger was better than Two-Face.
I loved both characters. Don't get me wrong, but I just thought Aaron Eckhart did a much better job.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. A lot of people feel that way. I mean, I'm not trying to put down Heath Ledger's accomplishment because he did a fantastic job. But I mean, if he didn't pass away, you gotta think, would he have maybe not won it? I don't know. I mean, maybe he would have anyways. But you definitely, I mean, that probably helped a little bit.
It did. And another guy who was up for the role, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he played John Givings in the movie Revolutionary Road. And he was only in 2 scenes, and he had a huge impact in that movie. And the character had a huge impact in the book, but his portrayal of the character was amazing.
I wish there was like a third actor award. Like, you have Best Supporting Actor, you have Best Actor. What about like Best, like, not supporting, just kind of like maybe in a scene, but kind of does something cool. Like, I don't know.
Well, that's considered supporting actor.
Not really. I mean, supporting is usually almost like a sidekick type of thing. Like, where you have the main actor is like the focal point of the movie. Usually the supporting actor is
what's strange is it's not even defined what is main actor and what is supporting actor. Because in the movie Departed, I consider Leonardo DiCaprio the main character. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'd say so.
But he was considered on some cases for best supporting actor for that movie.
Really?
And I guess Jack Nicholson was considered the lead actor.
I'd consider Jack, Leo, and
Matt Damon.
maybe Matt Damon's probably.
Well, I'd say Leo's definitely.
I'd say
the lead.
Leo and Jack were the two main actors, and then you had like Mark Wahlberg, you had Damon.
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg was nominated for Best Supporting Actor for that movie.
I can see that. So I don't know. It's funny just thinking of all these awards, but it's just you look back and you're like, how the hell did Kevin Costner? Speaking of Kevin Costner, the other night I was flipping through the channels. I got my cable box back in my room, and there's this movie that was called 13 Days on. It had Kevin Costner. It was made like in 2000.
Yeah.
And it actually got good reviews, but his acting was made fun of a lot in the movie. I can see why. It's about the Cuban Missile Crisis. So now it was like 13 days of just like craziness. And he did probably the worst Massachusetts accent I have ever heard in my life.
Living in the New England area, we have very
easy
access.
We live 3 miles
to the actual accent.
My parents are both from, not both of them, but my dad is from Mass, has Mass accent. My mom has Mass accent. And just, I work outside of Boston, and even we do, to some extent, have somewhat of a Mass accent. Not too thick, but there's words we say. But Kevin Costner was way overdoing it. It was bad. It was... Have you ever seen clips or listened?
I've seen the movie.
Oh, I mean, it's a good movie. It actually, it got praise. It was well made. It was good. It presented the facts. It was interesting, but just... It was hard not to laugh. I was just cringing listening to him speak. It was awful.
But back on the topic of awards for movies and music or anything, does it really even matter who wins the award? It's more just like self-congratulatory.
Well, I mean, that's what Hollywood is. It's a very selfish land.
Music, Grammys... No offense to the Grammys, but you're not a real award at all.
Grammys suck. I hate the Grammys.
It goes by who sells the most tickets. And it doesn't go by talent at all.
Well, I mean, some of the other awards kind of do. Like, a lot of their more, like, independent alt. The awards that aren't presented during the show, like the ones that are announced, like, a day or two before that are given out.
Yeah.
Those are kind of cool, because those are usually given to, like, different symphonies or different, like, smaller name acts, like, independent type stuff. It's when you get into more of the main awards, I really don't enjoy.
No.
I don't know. To be honest with you, I hate watching award shows. I think it's stupid. I really do. The only reason I know this is because I think it's interesting to read the next day. Like, I'll just be like, oh, this person won Best Actor. Like, oh, that's cool. I like that movie. I'm glad this person won. But who would sit for 3 hours? What? I don't know. I just think it's stupid. What's the point?
What I can't understand is people who go to Oscar parties. They dress up and go to galas.
Yeah.
And then watch it on TV.
It's like, this is probably the most boring thing in the world. I would hate that.
The only way I could see that being kind of entertaining is if you have bets on who's going to win.
I guess, but like, why not watch I'm sure there's like a basketball or hockey or baseball or football or something on that same night.
Or you could watch people throwing darts at a bar.
I don't know. I can name like a million. Like, why would you watch an award show? Why? I don't think I've ever watched an award show since I watched the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards.
Hosted by Kel Mitchell?
Kel Mitchell and like Rosie O'Donnell was on SNCC. I remember you could like call in and vote. That was probably like the last award show I ever watched. I just don't... I had a lot of buddies in college that were really, like, every year when it was, like, MTV Music Awards, we gotta watch it, I'm like, why? This is stupid.
Yeah, I know people who still watch that.
It's the dumbest thing in the world. I really don't understand why anyone would waste their time doing it.
The only entertainment that's come from one of those shows is Kanye and his great antics.
That was pretty cool. I will admit that. If stuff like that happened a lot more, then I'd probably watch the awards.
But you know what's funny? Everyone says Kanye is such a bad guy, but when he did that live, I didn't hear anybody booing him when he did it right there.
Well, I think most people were kind of like, this is really awkward. At least when I saw it, I thought, wow, this is very awkward. I don't know how I would react if that happened. Oh, man. Well, anyways, folks, thank you for listening again. We'll have another one up in a few days. Please send us anything. It can be anything you want.
Send us hate mail.
Send us hate mail. Send us awesome mail. Comments, suggestions, questions.
Advice.
Tell us
what you're up to.
Tell us anything. You can send us whatever you want. Send us coupons. I don't know. Just
let us know you exist.
Yeah, just send us stuff. We don't care. Just send it to
how
our
can
email.
they reach us again, Eric?
You can reach us at podcastrevolution@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, so next time, folks, have a good one.
And if we don't get any listener mails, we're not recording any more. So stick that in your pipe and smoke it, huh? And if for those of you who've already called my bluff, good job.
Well, anyways, folks, have a awesome Father's Day weekend.
And for those of you who are fathers,
I feel bad for you.
yeah.
Especially if you have daughters.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, yeah, hopefully you get a new gun.
Clown on her.
Not your daughter. We're not talking to you.
Oh, okay.
Or anybody to clown on your daughter. And God rest your soul if you know what that means.
Oh, God. Alright.
Please don't bother asking.
Okay. We'll probably get a bunch of mail asking what that means, but... Oh, jeez. Well, till next time, folks. It's late. I'm tired. I'm going to bed.
Not here.
Good night.
You gotta go home first.
Alright, I'm going home.
Alright. Das vidania.
Au revoir.
Oh, pants down.